Thank you and welcome back to Twirl. We are here with a very special guest. She is a sommelier and a wine educator here in Atlanta. Her name is Krista Mason and I'm very happy to have you. Thank you, ma'am.
My pleasure.
So tell me exactly what you do.
A sommelier is a wine expert. And so I am certified through the Court of Master Sommeliers. You study extensively on wine. Basically, my mission is to simplify wine in whatever field I'm in. Restaurants, wine shops, and most recently the classroom.
This segment is called Bubble Bubble. We have champagne today. I think that we need to demystify a lot of things.
Champagne is sparkling wine, but not all sparkling wines are champagnes. Champagne is a region in France. It's in northern France. It's a very small area, and it's a protected appellation. So if you're going to call it champagne, then you should be referring to something that was bottled and produced in the Champagne region of France. There are a lot of very specific technical guidelines in how it's made, what grapes are used, and how long it's aged, and the different style procedures with that. So champagne is definitely the benchmark throughout the world for sparkling wines. And most regions throughout the world that make sparkling wines are trying to mimic that style, that quality level, by going through the same procedures. Champagne is still the premium. Like any luxury item, it's in very small quantity, so it's very rare, and it's very prestigious. So that's really going to jack your price up on these bottles of wine. So for a good value in champagne, you're going to be looking for a bottle that's starting at $30, let's say. Now, for sparkling wines, that's when you really open up the world as far as different styles and also different value points. So there are wines made throughout the world in the United States, in France, in other regions than Champagne. Italy, Spain, Australia, what have you. The best, though, to start are going to be made in the same method as champagne, what they call méthode traditionnelle or méthode champenoise, using the same grapes and the same techniques. So the grapes used in champagne, the grapes that are only allowed to be used in champagne are Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, and Pinot Meunier. They are often blended, and they are also done in single varietal wines where they use only one grape. So wines throughout the world are also doing this method. They're also doing the method of secondary fermentation in the bottle. What that means basically in Cliff Notes is the wine is fermented, it becomes wine, grape juice to wine, then they put it in a bottle, add more yeast, cork it up. Secondary fermentation adds the bubbles. So that's carbon dioxide, it's a byproduct of fermentation. So you can make sparkling wines without doing it in the bottle. You can pump a tank with carbonation. You can have a secondary fermentation in a tank without being in the bottle. But the best are considered to be made in that in-the-bottle fermentation. It's the most elegant, it's the most refined, it allows for the aging to occur, it adds all those complexities of flavor. So that's what you're going to be looking for. If you want to avoid the hangover, the horrible headache, the cheap wine, don't, cross Cooks, cross Tots, cross Andre off your list. Those are very cheap produced sparkling wines that are made in the same way that soda pop is made. But speaking of American wines like that, we're actually partially to blame for why people have such a hard time confusing champagne with sparkling wines. Back in the old days, when immigrants moved in and they started making wine, because that's what you do, you bring your grapes, you make your wine, they were labeling them based on the things that they knew, the standards that they knew to be the best wines. So their sparkling wines they were calling champagne. California champagnes. Then in the 1930s, the Champenois said, we've had enough of you making your cheap wines with our prestigious name on it, and so they outlawed it. But these days, it's just there's more and more adherence to quality, and you can find those in your local wine shop. So what I've brought here today to kind of show you the different styles, explain it a little better to you, the different methods and what have you, I've brought 3 different wines. One is a great value in true champagne, Paul Gouergue Blanc de Blanc.
Which means, would you explain what Blanc de Blanc means?
Sure. Blanc de Blanc is a term that's used in champagne as a designator of style. It's very specifically regulated. So Blanc de Blanc is white from whites. That means that this wine is made with 100% white-skinned grapes, which in champagne can only be Chardonnay. So this is 100% Chardonnay sparkling wine. What this distinguishes, though, is a very graceful, elegant style, very feminine, very soft, dry, not sweet. But this was a great wine for, say, drinking as a cocktail before a meal, with very delicate foods and what have you.
And this is the price point around $30.
Yes, this comes in at right at $29.99, and that's your best value in champagne. Typically, you're not really going to find them for less. But this one, it's a small producer, They are they grow their own grapes, they make their own wines. This is kind of a small operation, family operation. So you're going to get a great quality wine for a little less expensive than some of your more mass-produced wines at the same price. We also have a wine for you here today. This is kind of one of my favorite little sleeper wines. It's not from California. It's an American sparkling wine from New Mexico. Gruet is actually a Champagne family, been producing wine for decades, and they decided to come to the New World, find a new property, and they found this great little plot of land in New Mexico that has the right climate, the right soil conditions. But instead of your $30 bottling, you can get a great bottle of Gruet for about $13, $14. So this is a Blanc de Noir, again another Champagne style designator. It means white from blacks. So there are two dark-skinned grapes allowed in Champagne, Pinot Noir and Pinot Meunier. Oftentimes outside of Champagne, you don't see a lot of Pinot Meunier. It's just a blending grape, kind of a local guy. But Pinot Noir is used very frequently, and this one is 100% Pinot Noir grapes used. But it is a white wine. So this style, you get something a little fuller bodied, a little more structure to it, a little more of that red fruit aromatics versus the apple pear and the Chardonnay. You're getting cranberry, cherry, very delicate, very good for heavier foods. I actually had this one the other night with roasted chicken.
I had this recently at Murphy's. They carry this.
Yeah, this is one you'll see. This is a darling of restaurants and wine bars because the price is really good. They can put it by the glass and give you a good quality wine where you might only pay like $9 or $10 for the glass, whereas you go to a Champagne, you're looking to start at $15 maybe for the glass. So it's great value.
Now, would you say this is dry?
Yes. Now these are both dry. Actually, all three that I brought today are dry.
I like that.
That's the most common sweetness level that you'll get is what they call brut. It does designate that it is dry, but we're not talking suck your sides out bone dry. That's just usually not something the American market finds really pleasant. So this is going to be your entry level for dryness. Now there's a couple other styles that are very popular. One that you would see is extra dry, and this is a huge misconception in sparkling wine. You shaking your head. Extra dry is actually a little sweeter than brut. It's not very dry. It's a term derivative from older languages. So you have sec is actually a little bit sweeter, and then the sweetest level you'll see is demi-sec. So demi-sec is your sparkling wine for desserts. This is the perfect level of sweetness for wedding cake. I always call this my wedding cake fiasco. I see it at every wedding I've ever been to, where they serve a brut champagne with this sticky sweet wedding cake. And what it's going to do is it's going to make your wine taste tart and your cake taste cloying. So your best bet is to match sweet to sweet. Go with a sweeter level of sparkling wine for your sweeter foods.
I did not know that.
Yeah, reserve your drier ones for anything that's greasy, cheesy, spicy. It's going to make it happy. But yeah, anything, I always tell people to pair sparkling wines with the unexpected. So fried foods like fried chicken, French fries, potato chips. I love champagne and potato chips. It's just one of those guilty pleasures. And foods that are kind of tricky. Spicier Thai food is great with sparkling wines or champagnes. And your cheese boards, your cheese plates, which are usually not very compatible with red wines, will love champagne.
Okay, so we have this one.
Yes, so this is the final one I brought because probably one of our most popular luxury categories for champagne is rosé. It's just, it looks elegant, it looks graceful. In Champagne, your more expensive wines actually typically are rosés. You're looking at its starting point $50 up to several $100s for some of your premium ones. This is actually a French sparkling wine. It's not a champagne. It's from the Alsace region of France, so right on the border with Germany. They do a lot of delicate whites. They also grow Pinot Noir. This particular rosé is made with 100% Pinot Noir grapes. It's dry, it's elegant, just a slight hint of color. This is going to be your perfect food pairing sparkling wine. Anything under the sun you can think of can go with this wine. Thanksgiving would love this wine. Your turkey, your ham, your stuffing, anything that you're going to serve at that dinner table loves rosé sparkling wine.
Now you do private events, so tell me about that real quick before you go.
Sure. One of my biggest venues right now in Atlanta is Total Wine & More. We offer wine education classes once a month on Thursdays. You can go to the website to find more information about that. And then anybody interested in doing private events, either at the store locations or I do in-home events, they can contact me directly about those.
Great. This was a wonderful segment,
Oh, my pleasure.
and I appreciate you coming. This is called Bubble Bubble. We're going to come back and taste a few sparkling wines. Does that sound good?
Sounds great.
Okay, everyone. We'll be right back.